Well, folks, this truly has been the craziest election year of our lifetime, and I can say that without any fear of being proven wrong because just the last couple of months have been so action-packed with so many breaking news stories and so many headlines that it's impossible to wrap your mind around all of it. People ask me sometimes, Brando, how do you come up with stuff to talk about? The real question is, how do I sift through it all and talk about it all? There's no way you can get to all of it because there's so much happening at one time. So I'll be honest with you. There's times that I see so much happening and I zoom in and I talk to you guys about some things, and then I'll look over and I'll see a really good video from Midas Touch or a really good video from Luke Beasley or someone else talking about something, and I'll go, I'm just going to let Luke handle that one. I'm just going to set that one out because there's so much going on around us. And just when you think that the headlines couldn't get any crazier, just when you think they couldn't get any more over-the-top ridiculous, I see a headline talking about how, according to reports, Trump is now campaigning in a plane formerly owned by Jeffrey Epstein. And I thought Maga would explode. I thought they would be outraged at this, that their leader would be flying around on a plane formerly owned by Epstein, but it's just crickets from them. And it's always crickets from them, no matter how many times we bring the receipts. When it comes to Epstein, they go silent. They love to use that to throw accusations at Bill Clinton and anyone else that they disagree with, but when it's Trump, they don't want to hear it. We have sat and shown them picture after picture of him and Epstein together, him standing beside Epstein laughing and dancing, him talking about how that, Epstein loves girls on the younger side, much younger than he likes them. We've sat and shown you every clip of him saying he wished Ghislaine Maxwell well. Everything we could try to show, every receipt we've ever tried to bring to the table, and it doesn't do any good. They just go silent or they tell us it's fake news. They either completely go to where all you can hear is the crickets, or they say that we're just making it up, that ain't true. But if they truly cared about the things that they get outraged about, then they would want to look into it and see and make sure, and if they found out it was true, then they would want to cut ties with Donald Trump. But that's just it. They don't want to cut ties with him because he empowers their hatred, and all of their fake outrage is just that. It's fake outrage. Because if something was a deal breaker for me, let me give you an example. Racism is a deal breaker for me. If you say and do over-the-top racist things, I do not want to be your friend. I do not want to be associated with you. I do not want to vote for you. So if suddenly it just came out that Tim Walz was a white supremacist, I would be wanting him off the ticket real quick. I would be saying, no, hell no, I do not want this dude around us. He does not belong on the ticket with Kamala Harris. That's what I would say. That's what reasonable people would do, because that's a deal breaker for me. So if Epstein is a deal breaker to MAGA, then they would want to know why he was standing beside him laughing and whispering in his ear. They'd want to know why he was on his flight logs. They would want to know why he would wish a child trafficker well. And they would sure as hell want to know why in the hell is he now campaigning in one of his old planes. But it just goes to show you that all their fake outrage is just that. It's fake outrage and blind loyalty to Donald Trump. And we can sit here, folks, and we can bring the receipts over and over. And the reason why that I keep bringing the receipts, and the reason why I keep sitting in this chair talking, I realize we're never going to reach the full-blown cultist. I realize the ones that are completely engulfed in it aren't coming back, and I hate to say that, they're not. But there's always the ones that are sitting on the fence, and there's always the ones that are sitting at Sunday dinner listening to their crazy uncle and their crazy cousin go off about it all, and in the back of their mind, they're calling bullshit. In the back of their mind, they're going, I don't know if I believe all this. And that's the people that I hope stumbles across videos like mine and says, well, okay, there's somebody that's saying what I've been thinking out loud. That's all we can hope for. But folks, at this point in the game, it looks to me, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, I'm truly not, but it looks like Trump's trying to throw the fight or someone's trying to sabotage him at this point, because I can't believe that his advisors just sits back and lets all these things happen without looking into them a little deeper. They give this guy one live microphone after the other, and he just sits there and buries himself further and further every time he gets behind a mic. He tried to talk with the black journalist. They had to take him off stage when it was before it was over, and try to make some excuse that he had to be on to somewhere else because he was train wrecking and bombing that bad. He held a press conference where NPR clocked him at 162 lies. Why isn't someone reining him in? Or are they trying to rein him in and he's incapable? You see, this is what happens when you surround yourself with yes men. This is what happens when you just put yourself around people who will do your bidding and not hold you to account. No one is holding him to account, so he's just going out there saying these things, and he's doing it in such a self-sabotaging way that you say to yourself, how could anyone possibly be this stupid? How could anyone be this stupid? And on top of that, how is it that he's got an audience of people that tunes into his stupidity thinking he's the smartest guy in the room? There is no world, folks, in which any of this makes sense. And I really hate to do the whataboutisms. I don't really like going down that road. But this is one where I will make an exception for it and do it. What if Joe Biden had have been flying around in a plane formerly owned by Epstein? What if Hillary Clinton had bought a plane, or Obama had bought a plane, or Tim Walz had bought a plane, or Tim Walz's next door neighbor that he grew up with in Nebraska? They would pick at anything if they could find it. They would grab at any straw they could find if they had any slight connection to that plane with anyone else. But when it's Trump, it's either we're making it all up and it ain't true, or it don't matter. Trump just bought his plane, man. No big deal. But if it was Kamala Harris's third cousin twice removed, they would be all over it, talking about it nonstop. Jesse Waters would have a complete meltdown on Fox News. Every right-wing talking head would be bringing it up. I really hate to do the whataboutisms, but that's a fair one. It just goes to show you how fake their outrage truly is, and that's why I can't take them seriously as people. I can't actually believe that they stand for anything, because the things they tell me they stand for, when we bring the receipts and show them, hey, this is what you said you stood against. Now, are you going to stick to that? They won't stick to it if it's Trump's name on it. So there's no way I can take them seriously. And to anyone out there who says, do you really believe in the things you're saying? I mean, you look like a redneck biker to me. I used to watch you play country music down at the dive bar, and you never said a word about politics. Well, no, I didn't say it back then, because I was playing country music in a bar, and I was being paid to play country music in a bar, so I wasn't going to get on a political bullhorn. But yes, this has always been the way I see things, always been the way I thought about things, always been the things that I was seeing through. And I thought you cared about these things because I sat and heard you go on and on and on about Epstein's plane. But now it's just silence, or they don't care, because their outrage is so phony. And it's just so sickening. It's just so sickening to sit and watch. Them act like they're the victims in the story. Them act like they're the ones being persecuted. That's all the Republican Party is these days. Donald Trump hijacked it with Maga. Now the party that used to be about accountability and responsibility takes none for anything, will not hold him to any standard. There's no standard. What standard do they hold Donald Trump to? Can you name it? I don't think there is one. I don't think they hold him to any standard, because there's nothing he can do, and there's no receipt that we can bring that can turn them away from him. And then they sit back and talk about how much they love the flag, but yet they go off on Tim Walz and say that he's got stolen valor. And I've done a video talking about that whole thing, but a quick recap is you've got a draft dodger. You've got a guy who has mocked and made fun of the prisoners of war and soldiers over and over and over again, called them suckers and losers, and you want to talk about stolen valor? Folks, that's why I don't think anything matters. I don't think the Bible matters to them, because they've let Trump break every rule in it. I don't think the American flag matters, because they've let him insult it every chance they get. I don't think the troops matter, because they've let him talk down to them. I don't think women matter. I don't think anyone matters. I think all that matters is him empowering their hatred. So yeah, we brought another receipt. He's flying around on one of Epstein's old planes. See if MAGA cares. See if one MAGA redneck gets up and walks out. Or they'll just double down and say we're the enemy of the people. Go figure.